Okay, let's just get right into it. Every single Shopify store owner I talk to is fighting this invisible battle. It's like this tiny leak in their revenue bucket, and it's costing them thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars every single day. And the fix? Well, it isn't another discount code, and it's not some flashy new ad campaign. It's about being present and being genuinely helpful in one single, absolutely critical moment.
And here it is. This is the number that keeps founders up at night, 70%. Think about that. Industry benchmarks show that for every 10 shoppers who add your product to their cart, 7 of them, 7, are just going to walk away without buying. Now, this isn't just your store. This is pretty much the standard. It's a huge universal hole right at the bottom of the sales funnel.
And you know what most merchants completely miss? These aren't just some casual browsers kicking tires. No, these are your most qualified buyers. They've already shown they want your product. But then they hit this tiny little moment of friction. A last-second question about shipping, maybe a little hesitation on the sizing, and it's 11 p.m. on a Tuesday, there's nobody there to help. That lost sale isn't a failure of interest, it's a failure of availability.
So, if the problem is a last-minute question that's creating all this friction, then the solution has to be being there with a last-minute answer to smooth things over. And this is where we get to the real secret. How you not only plug that leak, but actually turn it into a way to multiply your revenue. It all comes down to this one simple, powerful idea, the engaged shopper. Let's look at the data.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Just look at the sheer difference here. Based on recent data from Envive, shoppers who don't interact with the chatbot, they convert at a pretty typical rate, right? About 3.1%. But the shoppers who do engage, the ones who ask a question and get an instant answer, they convert at 12.3%. That is a 4 times increase. You haven't changed your product, you haven't changed your price, all you've done is change the conversation. So where does that huge lift come from? It's one thing: immediacy. It's all about the psychology of that exact moment. You're giving an accurate, helpful answer at the absolute peak of their intention to buy. See, when a customer's on the checkout page and they have a doubt, answering it in 2 seconds versus, say, 2 hours, well, that's the difference between a sale and just another abandoned cart statistic.
All right, so we know why this works, but how do you actually set this up to capture that revenue? This is not about just dropping some random chat widget on your site and, crossing your fingers. No, this is about deploying a sales-focused AI with a very specific, proven playbook. So let's jump into the setup and see how it's actually built.
And here's the mindset shift that changes the entire game. We have to stop thinking about chatbots as just support tools designed to cut down on tickets. The new generation, what we call a sales AI, is a full-on engine built to generate orders. It's hooked directly into your product catalog, it understands your inventory in real time, and its main goal isn't tickets resolved, it's revenue generated.
Now check this out. This is one of the most powerful plays you can run. It's a multi-channel cart recovery system. So when a shopper with a full cart is about to leave, the bot gives them a little nudge right there in the chat. If they still leave, an SMS follows up just 15 minutes later. Still nothing? A recovery email hits their inbox 24 hours after that. This one system, this sequence, consistently recovers 10 to 15% of revenue that was literally just evaporating into thin air before.
Now, a totally valid fear is, wait, what if the bot just makes things up? And that's where technology called RAG comes in. It stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. But think of it like this. A generic AI is kind of like a student who's read the entire internet but can't remember specific facts from the textbook for a test. A RAG-powered bot, on the other hand, it's like an open book exam. It has your product catalog open right in front of it, making sure every single answer is accurate and comes directly from your data. This stops it from hallucinating prices, or, and this is crucial, recommending a product that just went out of stock 5 minutes ago.
All right, this all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually mean for your bottom line? Let's break down the return on investment, because honestly, the numbers here are pretty staggering.
This is it. This is the question every single founder asks. We could talk about conversion lifts all day long, but what does the profit and loss statement actually look like? So let's run the numbers for a typical mid-market store.
First up, the investment. For a really robust, catalog-aware sales AI, the kind that's perfect for a store doing around $500,000 a month in revenue, you're looking at a cost of about $499 per month. Okay, just keep that number in your head for a second. And now, the return. Using a very conservative 4% site-wide conversion lift, which, by the way, is way below the 15 to 35% we often see in practice. That same $500,000 a month store would generate an additional $20,000 in monthly revenue. That's money that's coming purely from recovered carts and new conversions.
So let's do the final math on that. That is a 40x return on investment. You spend about $500 to make $20,000. For most stores, the payback period on this tech is less than 72 hours after you go live. It's truly one of the highest leverage investments you can possibly make in your business.
But hang on, before you rush out to install just any chatbot, there's a super critical piece of the puzzle we need to talk about. I've seen a lot of stores try this and fail, not because the technology is bad, but because their strategy is all wrong. So let's get into the common mistakes that will absolutely kill your ROI.
Look, every store owner basically comes to a fork in the road with this tech. Down one path, you have the setups that fail. They annoy users by triggering pop-ups on every single page. They use these generic FAQ bots that can't answer any real product questions. Their data is a mess, and they're not even tracking if it's actually making them money. The winning path? It's the total opposite. It's surgical, it's intelligent, it's data-driven, and it is relentlessly focused on just one thing: ROI.
You know, if there's one mistake that I see kill chatbot performance again and again and again, it's this: setting your bot to proactively pop up on your homepage or on your blog articles. It just irritates people who are just browsing. You have to reserve that proactive engagement for your highest intent pages only, so your product pages and, most importantly, your cart page. I'm telling you, this single tuning decision is often the difference between a tool that drives sales and a tool that gets uninstalled in a week.
And that really just leaves us with this one final thought. The technology itself, it's solid, it's proven. When it doesn't work, it's almost always a failure of strategy, not a failure of the tool. So the real question isn't if an AI chatbot can grow your revenue. It's whether you're willing to set it up the right way to let it do its job.